Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of What's Happening Now with C&I Solutions. As always, remember to like, share, and comment on this broadcast, as there could be some information here not only useful to yourself, but perhaps to a family member or a neighbor. Coming up with C&I Solutions, we have the HBCU initiative for the entrepreneurship program in collaboration with the Alabama Collective and with Hustle Healthier, and along with a host of other groups. If you hadn't had a chance to register for that, and if you're looking to try to be a part of that, please check out our Facebook page. It's been posted everywhere. You need to go ahead and register. There are some huge incentives for this class. Unfortunately, it is designed and dedicated to those who are in the HBCUs for Alabama. So if you are currently attending the HBCU and you have an actual email address for your university, please, and you're looking to start your business, sign up for that. I'm telling you, it is something that you are not going to miss. All right. So tonight's broadcast is being brought to us by TNR Webs. TNR Webs offers us a whole host of website solutions and things. If you haven't had a website and you need a website, get with TNR Webs. They give you a full solution that covers every aspect of establishing your online presence. Information at TNR Webs. Okay, so tonight in the studio with us, we have a guest that doesn't really need an introduction, but she is the co-founder and owner of P3 Project Pushing Purpose. We have Miss Angela Lovelady with us. Miss Angela, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Great. So tell our viewers exactly what is P3.
Okay. P3 Project Pushing Purpose. And I guess, I can just really let you know how that came to be. So P3, I've always, wanted to, encourage and motivate. It's just a calling that the Lord has placed upon me. So in 2016, 2015, I'm sorry, my pain that I had gone through, it pushed me to this purpose. And that pain that pushed me to this purpose, and many of you, know this, and some do not, but my great nephew, Calendo Fletcher Jr., he passed away. He tried to save a man's life from drowning, and he lost his life in the process. But to not make this story really long, this young man, he was kingly. He possessed all the characteristics, of a king. And that's one of the things that the Lord had told me in my conversation with him when he decided to take him, to call his son home. He called him king. So he said, no one is looking. He said, you guys are looking for, and these are the words that I heard him say, the names. He said, you all are looking for the next Herschel Walker, the next Michael Jordan, the next Jay-Z and Beyonce, but no one is looking for my kings and queens. So during that time, I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. So that's one of the programs P3 sponsors is this Rock Royalty for crowning the next generation of leaders. And so P3 is about empowering the community and motivating the community, making sure that they know who they are. They know their purpose. They know that they are the apple of God's eye, that he loves them just who they are. So we want to, help people find that purpose so they can live a life of purpose on purpose. So, we're about self-empowerment, self-discovery, and the three pillars. I'm sorry.
That is a very, very touching story, to say the least, Miss Angela, and please accept my condolences. You mentioned the Rock Royalty, and I got something here I want to share with the viewers. Rock Royalty crowning the next generation of leaders. So what is the what can how does that work? How does that work? Let me ask you that. How does that work?
Okay, initially, and we've been crowning the next generation of leaders. The first program was in 2016. And at that time, we were crowning, it was the kings and queens of Huntsville. So, because my nephew had just turned 20 years old, I chose to go out and search for 10 girls and 10 guys, so to represent his age. And he went to Buckhorn High School. So I would work with Miss D Gordon. Thank you so much, Miss Gordon. And for those of you that may know her, she I would work with her to find these young kings and queens at the school. She's a counselor, so she would know what they actually were going through, because it wasn't necessary, it didn't matter about what your GPA was. It didn't matter about, those things are great. But this was finding those students that needed that extra encouragement and motivation. So she knew, of students. So for 4 years, she would support in sending students my way. I also worked with NACES, North Alabama Center of Educational Excellence. I would work with them, and they would also, send me students that they thought this program would help. So we would get the students. We would, of course, select them, congratulate them. We would do a meet and greet to meet with them and the parents, to let them know what all we were doing. And if they agreed, we went to the next step, where we give them a gift assessment. It's a spiritual gift and talent assessment, so they can know what their God-given gifts and talents are. So they can begin to, when they find that out, and we help develop that, that's what they're kings and queens of, is that domain, is who they are. Because sometimes, we want to be like somebody else. You have to know that who God created you to be is purpose, and you can be kings and queens of that domain. So
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm sorry, but I know we got a few photos here, and I want to share those. And I'd like for you to just kind of explain as we go through some of these, what are we looking at and what's going on here.
Okay. This photo, I think it was probably from 2018. And that's Kalindo's mom. That's Trisilla Fletcher. That's my niece. And Kalindo was her oldest and only son. And I want to just really thank her publicly for allowing me to celebrate his life, through this program, because it is inspired by his life. And they did an awesome job raising him. But these are some of the kings from that year. And after, what we do is we have sponsors for the girls' hair. We have makeup artists, and we have formal wear. We have a sponsor for the formal wear, and they get to keep these dresses. So that's what the queens receive. The kings, that we rent tuxedos from Men's Warehouse. We have sponsors to do the haircuts. And they also, you see, they get T-shirts. We do a community service day. We do a night out where we bond as a group. And so these are some of the photos from the queens of that year. And I love this particular picture, because what we do is previous kings and queens, they come back and crown the next generation.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's and if a lot of times it's not all of them. We have one or two to come back, and they would do the crowning of the next generation. So learning to inspire one another. We thought that was a great, something great for them to see.
That is awesome. I think the fact that being crowned by former kings, who has been nominated and selected is an awesome thing. So I have kids. I have, some 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. how do they become part of this? How do I get them signed up? Because, I think this is a good program, and I think it'll do their self-esteem a world of good to be crowned a king. Does everyone become a king, or is it a selection process? Is it a voting process? Is there a contest involved? How does that all work?
So in the past, like I said, I've worked with these organizations, and they would, they would select them and send me the names, however they see fit, and when I get the names, I trust that, okay, Lord, these are the ones that you chose. So so right now, what I'm working on with my brand manager, Larissa Gaddis, and I will give you her number. And if you have an 11th, this is for 11th and 12th graders. When we first began, it was from 9th graders to 12th graders, but now it's 11th graders and 12th graders, because the Lord has blessed me with a venue sponsor for this year's program, which we will have a retreat. So at Smith Lake in Jasper, Alabama. So we're going to have a 2-day retreat. So like I said, we up the age because of, trying to be intentional and, and how we're doing things. So if someone has, an 11th or 12th grader that they would like to, nominate for the program, even if they don't be selected for this year, because we're basically, we have all the kings and queens for this year, except for we do need one more queen and one more king. And if you're listening and you would like to nominate somebody, please call my brand manager at 256-254-5910. You don't have to call her. You can text her and text king or queen, and she will get back with you to get those names on the list. And if we have several, that's what we want, because then we can be building that database for next year.
Right.
So that's how, for right now, if you would like to submit somebody.
So 11th and 12th graders, is there a cutoff for age? What if I'm a really advanced student and I happen to be in 11th grade, but I'm only 14?
No, it is, it's geared to 11th and 12th graders. And if you're gifted to be an 11th grader at 14, that means your maturity level, is where you could handle, the program. Right. And and it's even for graduating seniors. So if you just graduated the year of the program, you still will be able to participate.
Okay, all right. Now that's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. So, were these kings and queens? How long is there anything that they have to do? Is it like anything like the beauty pageants where they have to go out and do community service, or they have to do this? Do they have to do anything like that?
One of the things that we would like for them to do, and we know that their schedules, it used to be during the summer months. It used to be like April, May, and June. So we would do something each month. So they would have to. So a requirement for this year is that you have to participate in the retreat, because that's where we're going to really get into, emotional intelligence and finding out who you are. And, the main goal is to help find their vocation and link it to an occupation. So when you know your vocation, and then you can find a job that aligns with your vocation. So when your vocation aligns with your occupation, you can begin to walk in purpose and destiny, right, and have peace, and and really do well. So so that's what we require for this this year. You have to be a participant in the retreat. Okay. And also we do community service, but community service this year is going to be after the retreat. So we'll have the retreat in September. October, we'll have a financial literacy training. thanks to CNI. And we'll also have in November, that's when we have the Royal Ball. So that's when they get this formal wear, they get the hair. LaShawn Sales from Cutting Them Up, she is super. She has sponsored these queens since day one, since 2016. So we really want to appreciate her for closing down her shop sometimes on Saturdays to take care of these young ladies. And Mike from Kodak Cuts, he's helped us in the previous years as well. But so we'll have that in November, and then December, that's when we'll have the community service day.
Okay. All right. Hey, I love that. I love that. So besides doing the Rock Realty, you also have another event or program that y'all sponsor as well. Talk to us a little bit about the Single Rose Gala, honoring single parents, which is very interesting because you don't hear anything like that going on across the country. At least I've never heard of it. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. This, and I smile because it is just amazing how this program came to be, because I was talking to a gentleman at the Richard Shower Center, just telling him some of the things that, P3 that we're involved in. And I was trying to schedule a room for this activity. And when I was telling him about what, the single parents, I thought this is something that, I know the Lord is calling me to do this. And it's to, do something for these single parents. Well, my mom is 89 and she's still alive, thank God. And she's, basically single-handedly raised all 7 of us, as a single parent. So I thought, what an awesome testament to these single parents out here to see this lady, 7 children, and she's raised them, and she's still, just super. So talking to Mr. Ballard, who's the supervisor at the Richard Shower Center, telling him about, what my thoughts were, my vision. And he thought, this is great. We would like to, partner with you. So I partnered with the Richard Shower Center and honoring my mom. Many of us have heard, give me my flowers while I'm living. So that's what we really wanted to do, is give my mom her flowers while she was living, while she could be an inspiration to other single parents, in the community. So what's really phenomenal about this is, when I took it to Mr. Ballard, he, I was like, we can change the name, work on the name, whatever fits best for us. So he came back before I told him, all about my mom. And he said, what do you think about the Single Rose? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, do you know what my mom's name is? And he said, no, of course. And my mom's name is Rosetta. So it was like, it's the Single Rose Gala. That's what we're doing. And so, having the community, we sent out, we sent out nomination forms for the community to nominate single parents that they felt like, they deserve to be, pampered and deserve to be celebrated, because they have overcome so many challenges as a single parent, and they're still out there, grinding real hard. So that's how we got the single parents. The community nominated these folks, and I'm telling you, it was an overwhelming amount of nominations. So next year, I already have a database that I can select from, right, for the next year. So these parents, they receive, just like the queens and kings, they receive formal wear from our sponsor, hair and makeup. The makeup this year was Miss Jacqueline Sis. She did the makeups for the parents, for the single parents. And LaShawn, of course, did the hair. And he's going to get so mad at me, but I had a young man that he brought his mobile truck to Sean's shop to cut the hair. So if somebody is on here and knows his name, please put it in the link. but he showed up there to cut the single father's hair, and it was awesome. I hope there's some single parents that's on here that can attest to to that event, because it was all smiles.
I really commend you guys in P3, and those who are viewing and watching this right now. Please take time to share and comment on this Facebook Live. If you have any questions for Miss Lovelady, she'd be more than happy to answer those questions. Angela. So, what are the boundaries for the Rock Realty nominees, or even for the single parent, single rose nominees? Like, how far can someone be out to be a participant for one of those?
Okay, when you say how far can they be out, you talk about location wise?
Location wise, like, could I live in, let's just say, Muscle Shoals and be nominated for the Rock Royalty?
I would say, because we have it all depends on if that person, if that the parents are willing to come, to the things that's, most of everything is done is located here in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
The events, and of course, having the retreat in at Smith Lake in Jasper, Alabama. We do have transportation sponsored by the Huntsville Dream Center, so they're going to transport the kings and queens there. So we do have that, but so that person would have to come to Huntsville for all the events. Now, we in the past we have not gone past Athens.
Okay.
Alabama. So even with the single parents, we had a couple parents that was from Athens, Alabama. So it like I said, if we go further out, they would have to really be dedicated to come, to the events here. But so far, it's just been, North Huntsville,
Right.
Athens, but it is for the community.
Okay. All right. I understand that. And with it being for the community, I've heard you mention a lot of organizations like Cut 'em Up Beauty Salon and Training Center. You've mentioned the Richard Shower Center. If there's a viewer out there or organization out there who would like to be a sponsor to one of these events, either really for the single rose or for the kings and queens, for those young ladies and young men, how can someone reach you to become a sponsor if they want to provide you a space to use, if they want to donate funding to these events? How could they be a part of that? Or if they just want to volunteer?
Yes. Well, I would, and I hope they do. I hope people find that this is a worthy cause, to do that. So I would again ask you to text, my brand manager at 256-254-5910, Larissa Gaddis. And she's collecting all of this information for me. And with you asking Charles about sponsors, this is the perfect opportunity for me I would like to challenge our fraternities and sororities in the community to sponsor a king and queen.
Yes.
And to sponsor them, and then they will be able to come to the ceremony to to witness this awesome event as they are crowned as kings and queens of their domain, and within the community, and then have a sorority or fraternity backing them. And even if that sorority or fraternity is looking for, if they have a mentorship program built in their organization, this would be a great opportunity for these young kings and queens to begin to acquire mentors. So if anyone out there, if you're a part of a sorority or a fraternity and you would like to sponsor a king and queen at $300 per king and queen for your entire organization, it doesn't have to be individually. But I'm not putting, just saying that that's what it has to be. But if your organization, your fraternity or sorority could support and sponsor a king and queen for $300, it would be an awesome gift. And that would just catapult the program.
Yes, most definitely, and with those young ladies and young men doing great things and being recognized, I feel it'd be a really great opportunity. So those who are part of that Divine Nine out there, all those who are especially located there in the Huntsville, Alabama area, going to Alabama A&M, and even going to U of H there in Huntsville. If you are part of one of those organizations and part of those fraternities, hey, reach out and let's help some of these younger uh, uh, generations who are going to be possibly become part of your organization as they graduate from high school. So I think that is awesome. What you are doing. Are there any other programs with P3 that we should know about that we need to be looking out for coming out on the horizon?
Yes. There is, P3, like you said, we do the rock royalty program, the single rose gala, and then we have workshops, which, I'm excited about. And I call them the proper people placement workshops. And these workshops too, we will have assessments, trying to help, people understand who they are, what their gifts and talents are, helping align them with that occupation. So this is, for it's all age groups, but as far as high schoolers, young adults, um, these workshops is really for anyone who's trying to um, define their purpose and align it with occupations. So what P3 really want to do with other organizations in the community is build that pipeline to purpose. So once, what would be great if we can get other organizations to join us once we do those workshops, and we connect people's their vocation with their occupation, have
Mhm.
someone that they could network with. This is, this person is really good at this. We have somewhere to send them so they can apply for openings, or help us find out where the openings are, and then fit that person to the best position.
Hey, that is awesome. I think what you're doing is great, and I think that's what's needed in our community. We need more support like that to help those in the community, because sometimes people just don't know where to go. They don't know how they can get that help. So I appreciate and thank you for doing that. All right, that was our rocket round sound off. You know what that means? It's going to be those three magic questions that we're going to have for Miss Angela Lovelady. And this rocket round is being sponsored to you by TNR Webs, who has everything for your web solutions and design. So, Angela, tell me, what is the most best piece of advice you have ever been given?
Mm, I have been given so much advice. um I guess the best is, and that's why it's so important for you to know your purpose, is to be who you are, be your authentic self, because you should be proud of who God has created you to be. So when you know who you are, you can be your authentic self, and you don't live with envy and jealousy, in your heart, because you're free, and you know that you are all of that and a bag of chips, because he did not create any junk. He didn't create junk. So
Right.
when you know who you are, that is the best advice I've ever given. Know who you are, and be true to yourself, and other people will be drawn to you because they see how real you are. They see the authenticity of yourself. And that's what I've tried to be in my life. Is what you see is what you get. All of my life I've just been this person that really embrace like to embrace people, to be their best version of themselves.
Okay. All right. So, what was the most influential book that you have ever read that has helped you in your journey?
um I guess the most influential book I've read, um, it's this little book. It's a little book, but it's packed. It's Jesus as CEO.
Mm-hmm.
So that book, it just broke it down, how, his leadership style. He led by influence.
Right.
He was a servant leader. How he influenced the 12 disciples, to do the things to follow him, to drop everything and come behind him. And he talks about, love conquering all. And it's not about you. It's about who he created you to be, to help others be who he created them to be. So that book was really it's just helped me out a lot in my, in leadership. And I know you didn't ask for a song, but a song is Choose Me. That's by Letitia Crawford. And in that song, if you guys would just, look it up, YouTuber. Um, you'll find out who I am. It's Letitia Crawford. It's Choose Me, and she's singing about, Lord, choose me, I'll go. Choose me, send me, I'll go. And it's not about the fortune. It's not about the fame. I just want to be able to, bring your name, bring
Right.
the fame to your name. So, and it also talks about, he used Moses, he used, Joseph, um, he used Daniel, and David. It's a really great song to let you know that no matter who you are, he can use you. No matter how small you think you are, he can use you.
Right.
So, I love
Okay.
that.
All right. And final question is, what is the one tool you cannot live without in doing what you're doing with P3?
Okay, the one tool, and I don't want this to sound, the one tool that I can't do, and I don't know if I want, if can I change tool to resource?
I'm going to let you change it to resource. How about that? Okay.
Okay, people. I cannot do this without the people. I cannot, we cannot, um, support the community without the support of the community. And I like to say that, it takes, of course, we all know it takes a village, but within community, the word unity sticks out. We have to do it in unity. So come with me to do unity.
Right, right. Okay, all right.
It's the people.
I tell you what, P3, I'm looking forward to bringing those kings and queens into CNI Solutions and providing them with that financial literacy segment. This is something a lot of our youth need. And I'm grateful that you are wanting to work with us and help educate them and get them on the right path to financial stability, because that's what we're always about. And I love what you're doing with these young kids. It's amazing. I love seeing those beautiful pictures. They all look so proud standing there, and they have that sense of accomplishment over their face as well. And I love that look. I love that look. Is there anything that you would like to add before we close?
I guess, just really thanking, all the people, that has really supported in so many different ways. Um, you know, um, from makeup artists, from, Andrea Green, from, years past. Um, we've had, you know, Yvonne Barber, who helped with, the dessert, the cakes,
Mhm.
just, and I, it's just so many people. Probably shouldn't, just call out names because I know I'll forget, some
Right.
people. But I have this close friend, Alicia Simmons. I hope she don't mind me calling her name out, but she has been just an awesome, spiritual advisor, through this whole process. And just Pastor Sylvia Moore, Pastor Abraham Moore and his wife, Lady T, they have, supported in the Kings and Queens crowning ceremony when we do the reflections of a king and reflections of a queen. So just thanking them so much. And of course, my family, my son and my husband for sure, because he's part of P3, and he's my fundraiser, my fundraiser person, because he's the cook. So whenever you all see on, we're having these plate sales, these barbecue plate sales or whatever. We're doing that so we can help fund P3, so we can do all these things, because it does take, it does take money to make all of this happen. And this program is at no cost. All of these programs is at no cost to the participants. So that's why sponsorship is really important, because as many people know, that when you're doing these things, sometimes you have to come out your own pockets, so 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 we just want to thank all the people that has supported. We want to really thank you for your sponsorship, Charles, and and some other things that P3 does. We do outreach. So if there's if you have an event, and you have space for tables, and you want somebody like P3 to come, if you're dealing with youth, you want them to come and show their, have a presence there, so they can motivate and get a chance to talk to, the young folks that, that's part of it. We participated. We had a table at the Braidathon, which was phenomenal. We've also did, we've shown up and supported the Fall Festival, at the Richard Shower Center, and so and a lunch and learn that we had at Cersei's home, where I got to talk to some of the Boy Scouts, the 100, I think it's the 100 troop. Mm-hmm. So those things are exciting for us, because too, we're out still looking for God's kings and queens, so we may find them in those, in some of those areas. So we're there for for the community, also to help, give back and encourage and motivate that way as well.
Outstanding. Hey, we definitely appreciate you for coming on and taking time to share P3 with us, especially for those who are in the Huntsville area. If those who are watching and viewing this, if you didn't get a chance to see everything, please go back to the beginning and watch this. Miss Angela Lovelady gave us some outstanding information for our youth, and bringing them into the Kings and Queens, and also for the Single Rose Gala event, honoring all of those single parents out there who are doing a thing. We cannot thank them enough for doing what they are doing. So as always, remember, your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow. Good night.